Hi, my name is Brenda McGee, and this is Paranormal Encounters. We just ended the first show with Roland Comtois, the International Medium, but now I would like to introduce you again.
Thank you.
Roland, thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
I love the stories, and honestly, I would love to hear more stories. Have you ever gone on an investigation or investigated yourself with things?
Sure. You know, I've done multiple investigations over the years. There's one story that just sticks out in my mind. I get a call from this family in Rhode Island, and they, for some reason, feel this very strange energy that they can't define. They've tried all kinds of things. They're very open-minded, so they weren't closed about what could be happening. So I made my way there, and I was walking around the house, and I was feeling all these incredible things and having images in my mind, smelling roses. That was one of the things that was very strong. And I just kept moving around the house. And I found myself, each time that I walked around the perimeter of the house and inside the house, I ended up in the same spot over and over and over again. And so I had a conversation with them. It didn't mean anything to them. So then I decided to go outside and really have a good talk with the spiritual world, with whatever it was that I was feeling. And as I was walking around the house, something kind of grabbed me. I felt like I was being connected in that 1 second. And I said to the owners, I said, something occurred right here that needs some adjustment. Something here happened. I don't know what it is right now, but I know that it needs our attention, and we need to do something about it. And again, the smell of roses came, and I thought, well, this is very odd. Here's what they told me. In the spot that I was standing, they had removed an old rose bush that was planted there years and years ago. Underneath the rose bush, they found some kind of what felt like, in their story to me, or sounded like, some kind of marker, a grave marker or something. And what they did was, they dug all that up, and they threw it all away. Oh. And they got everything in an uproar. So what we did, and what the remedy was to replant something beautiful there to honor whatever this was. So they found a little marker. They found remnants of an old rose bush. They pulled it out, threw it away, had no, they didn't do anything loving and kind to that moment. They just tossed it, created a little bit of ruckus energetically, and we then planted a beautiful bush. We did some things there, and there was peace after that. There was absolute peace. You know, and when I tell this story, people say to me, well, are you telling me that I cannot ever move anything in my house, or I can't change a wall, or I can't change the paint? I said, that's not what I'm telling you. Right. What I'm telling you is to respect the energy. That's all. Mm-hmm. Just respect the energy. I'm not saying you can't do anything at all. I'm saying go there, just honor the space for what it was and what it is for you today. And that's significant. It's an important part of that stuff, right? I went into this old house, right, down in New York. Mm-hmm. And I went down into the basement after other medium channeling people went in there. And I, along with every other person, went into this basement, and we felt like there was an energy underneath this concrete pallet or something. Right. The homeowners dug and dug and dug, removed the concrete, removed the dirt, went down, and what they found were the remnants of an old train station that must have passed through that place who knows how long ago. Right. And so, you know, the second you walk into a space, no matter what it is, where it is, something's going on. Right. If you're energetically sensitive, and I imagine most people are, and are becoming more sensitive, you're aware of these things that are going on. Right. I've also told the story once, and I may have told you this story since you and I are talking about these things occasionally, of walking into a house on the 3rd floor of an apartment house in Rhode Island again, and as I walked up the stairs, I got this kind of cold feeling. I knew that I was entering something that was different. And so I walked up into the room, and strange things happened, and I walked into the baby's room. When I walked in there, I started to cry. And I had this image of my mind of a woman who was sitting in a rocking chair. It was what I was seeing and feeling in that moment. And you know what? At this point, I'm not fighting what I feel anymore.
Right.
I'm not having an argument with myself.
Right.
I had an image of a woman crying, sitting there waiting for her child. So the end of this story is, to make the long story very short, is that what they have documented in this house is a woman whose daughter was abducted. They lived on the third floor apartment. Her energy was there. Look, everything we do leaves an imprint.
Yes.
Everything we do leaves an impression. That energy is out there somehow. Mm-hmm. And if you're sensitive enough, you're going to feel that energy through one of those paranormal senses, I would say. Right? You would feel that vibration. And in that house, third floor apartment, it's documented that a woman died in that room waiting for her daughter to come home. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't make up that stuff.
You really can't. No.
So you can't make it up.
And you know, I tell people that when I go into their homes, because they'll say, you know, oh, can you tell me what's here or whatever? And I'll say, is there a lot of, like, sometimes do you get like I see like a movie playing.
That's exactly how I describe it.
It's like a movie, and I say, is there a lot of arguing and things like that? And they'll say, well, yeah, we were screaming, we were I said, that manifests an energy.
That's what I
said, so it doesn't have to be a spirit.
So true.
You manifested that energy, and that's what's stagnant.
That's so true.
You need to clear it.
And look, we don't even, that's really a great point. Sometimes we don't know our own power.
Right.
But you're right. That creates a vibration. That vibration, you know, I'm a nurse by profession, and that vibration, if I was going to give you an analogy, it's like an artery getting clogged up.
Right.
The energy flow isn't working. The blood isn't moving. Same thing in those kinds of moments. It creates a stagnant energy there. Oh, that's good. That's very good.
Now, Roland, could you please tell everyone how you go about spreading the word? Or I know you give messages, but you do it in different types of things.
Yes.
Can you explain some of the things that you do?
You know, the truth is, and I appreciate that question, the truth is I have one mission, and that is to tell everyone that love is everlasting, right? I have one purpose, to tell the story that love remains. And I do that at all kinds of venues. I do it on my radio show. Every year I host an after loss conference to help people through their grief with healing and messages, and an amazing supportive team of people helping to make that happen. I travel from venue to venue to venue across, not all the way across the country yet, but making my way to certain places and really telling the story that in this moment, right here and right now, love is everlasting. If love is everlasting, then our loved ones are part of us. If our loved ones are part of us, then we're able to have some kind of communication with them. And so I do it all over the place. I do it, you know, my first international presentation was in Ireland, and I did it was some very powerful time being there. Oh, wow, wait, speak about feeling energy, right? I'm walking through the Dromoland Castle, right? Built in the 15th century. What do you think you're going to feel there when you go, right? Your hair is going to be standing when you're walking through that castle. And I remember walking through the castle. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had just finished doing my presentation, right? I had done my presentation, the final one of this 10-day tour through Ireland. And I'm walking through the castle, and I keep seeing the image of a woman walking through the castle. So I walk down a hall, I see her pass by, right? I describe her. She's got this beautiful white gown on with a little sachet or something, whatever you call those things, going around her waist. She has brown hair, very meticulously placed. I was so intrigued by her that I went to the front desk. I said to the people, I said, hey, hi, my name is Roland Comtois. I'm from the U.S. I'm a medium. I have a story for you, right? And the people at the front desk are saying, oh, really, another one, you know? And I said, there's a lady with this beautiful white dress and this, I think it was a blue sachet and this beautiful, meticulous hair. The guy said, "Oh my God, come with me." They took me through the hallways and walkways of the castle up to the second floor library. And as we walked up, there was a picture that would fill this wall of the woman who owned the castle that was built who knows when. She was someone that lived in that castle, and there was her portrait with a beautiful white gown and this amazing satchel here, and her hair so meticulously placed. I walked through that castle looking for other spirits, never found anybody else but her. And I had such a feeling about being with her. Second international trip, I'm in England. And I'm in England, right? And I'm there when the Icelandic volcano erupts. So now I'm trapped. Oh, right. I'm trapped there for days and days and days. I went nuts, but that's a story for another show. But I was sitting in the house of where I was supposed to present, and we were supposed to have a little gathering of people. Only 2 people showed up because of the chaos that was going on in the country at that particular time. There were no railways, there were no cars, there were nothing going on. I couldn't rent a car, I couldn't find my way home, but I was still there to have a conversation. So I'm sitting in the chair of this house in Newcastle, England. It's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours north of London, and I'm sitting in the house, and I say to the guy who's with me, I said, "I know this is strange, but there are men walking across me with red coats." And the guy went pale, and he points out the backyard like this. And he says to me, "You're not going to believe what's over there." He said, in whatever year, 18-something, the Red Coat Army would walk across this land, and they would take the soldiers all the way to the opposite side of the land, and they would their tent was there, or whatever they did. So the Red Coat were these guys in their uniforms, all adorned as soldiers, and I felt them walking past this room. I had never ever seen that kind of energy before. The next day, I go to Durham Cathedral. I have to take, the only way to get there in the middle of all this chaos is a cab. And I have to go alone. Now, I've never gone alone. I'm in the cab by myself. Nobody's with me. The place is closed. But in my head, I hear you have to be oh God, I'm getting chills telling you this story. This was by far one of the most remarkable moments of my channeling days. Wow. I heard the message in my head that said you need to sit in the castle, I'm in the cathedral at 1:11 in the afternoon. I work it out, I get the cab guy to get me there, I sit there, and as I'm sitting there, this is what I see. Look, sometimes you just see things that are hard to explain.
Right.
Just is the way it is.
Exactly.
I'm sitting there exactly where I was supposed to sit, and here's what I saw. I saw the image in my mind's eye, not people walking past me, of them carrying these stones. And as they walked past me, this is what I heard. "I carry these stones for you. I built this place so you could sit here and so you could feel the energy." It was the most remarkable thing. And I had this whole thing that I had to write, and I don't even remember all the words. But it was about tearing down injustice. It was about tearing down fear. It was about not having to carry the boulders on your shoulder anymore. It was about taking control of who we are and seeing that inside of here is something so extraordinary. And so I sat there and I had these images. I had these amazing and extraordinary moments when I was in Ireland and England. And I'm speaking in Italy this year on October 2nd. I'll be in Gubbio, Italy, and we're going to walk the paths that St. Francis walked. And who knows what will happen then? It may be.
That's going to be emotional.
It may be another one of those incredible moments.
And I believe that the stones that you were talking about was the messenger actually getting a message.
Exactly so.
Because they feel that we don't get messages, and then when we do, which honestly, I can honestly say, my mother, for the first time, because I always say, and I think that I manifest this, I can see other people, and but I won't I don't call myself a medium because that's too much of a title for me.
Okay.
But I will give messages if I get them in my readings or whatever.
Sure.
Well, my mother had I got a message. And I actually shared it on Facebook, and it resonated with a lot of people. But I think because finally I wasn't saying I never get a message from her. So the messenger got the message.
Yes, it was about releasing the fear, releasing the tension, releasing the doubt. And it was at 1:11 p.m. that all this started in England, in the Durham Cathedral, and it was powerful and profound.
And it was something that was supposed to happen.
It was something that was supposed to happen. It was something that was needed that I could not have found on my own, that I needed the intervention of that space, of that place, of that cathedral, of that energy to guide me to the next step. I think that everybody has those little spiritual interventions, right? I think we all have them. It's that moment when that voice inside says, take a right. And you take a right.
Yes.
It's that moment when that voice in you says, call Brenda right now, she needs you. And someone calls you in that precise moment. I think those are all those kind of spiritual interventions that we all need so that we all can step forward and step through something.
Now I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you seen heaven?
I have. It is by far the most extraordinary thing. But the most extraordinary thing about seeing heaven was coming back and standing there and recognizing in that moment when I was coming back that heaven is here. It's in the eyes of my 23-year-old daughter. It's in the embrace of friendship. It's in the beautiful life that we live if we choose that beautiful life. So the answer is yes to the question, but heaven isn't a place above. It's a place everywhere.
Right.
It's not just a destination. In my first book, I talk about heaven being above, within, and beyond. It's in all places, and it's in all moments. It's in all extraordinary experiences, and it's also in the moments that are overwhelming. It's everywhere, and that's how I understand it, But I certainly have seen it, and I know exactly what it looks like for me. Right? I know what it looks like for me. My heaven might not have big pony horses in it because that's not my thing.
Right.
My thing is this other religious, spiritual, vibrational energy that I see. That's what I witnessed. And it was powerful. It was very powerful. But the real message wasn't about what is there.
Right.
It's about what is here.
Now, a lot of people ask me this question, and I'm going to ask you the same question.
Yes.
Why is there spirit here? They always ask me, okay, if my loved one, they don't understand, and you try to talk to them, but if my loved one crossed over, why would they come back?
Good, that's a great question. I think what makes the spirits present for us is based on the energy and the essence of love. I don't think it's based on the physical body, because we understand, I know as a nurse, at the end, that's it, the body's gone.
Right.
But what makes you who you really are is something that's implanted deep inside of you. That's the part that's, to me, is everlasting. So if, again, I think in the previous show, I'm not sure if we said it this show, it is all about impressions and imprints. We make those impressions every day, thousands of them every single day. When you say, I love you, to your kid, to your husband, to your wife, it leaves an impression, an energy.
Right.
That is palpable and tangible. When that energy is present, you can feel it after someone passes on. Crossing over in the minds of most people means you've gone far away. I think crossing over means you've let go.
Right.
You've let go of whatever, the physical, the emotion, and you are now truly in a spiritual form. That's my assessment of it.
No, I love that.
It's my assessment of it. I really, that. The skeptics of me think that I'm a little bit too lovey about things. It really is all about love.
Right. And if more people felt that way, it'd be different, wouldn't it?
It'd be different. And I'm sure that when you walk into an investigation, you might say a prayer, a thought, you might do something that brings that energy forward. I mean, I'm sure you must have some routine.
Well, I was just talking about that. I said the difference between when I go in is the first thing when I enter the home, and I know that there is spirit there, is, hi, my name is Brenda.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm not trying to get rid of you in any way. I come with much love and light, and I just want to hear your story. If there's something you need to say, that's what I'm here for.
And that's the way I've done it for years.
Yeah.
You know, it's going in and just having a talk.
Right.
It's not any more than that.
No, it's not provoking. It's not yelling at them.
It's not summoning the spirit.
I refuse to do that.
Me
and if
too.
anybody on my team ever did that, they wouldn't be on my team.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's about going there and recognizing what is present without having to extract any more energy into that space.
I'd love for you to talk about your purple papers.
Well, thank you. The purple papers are all pre-recorded, pre-transcribed, sacred messages that exist between two people. And they get recorded on 11 by 17 purple papers, and I've been writing on them for 10 years. And I carry them wherever I go. They're going to go to Italy, they've traveled to England, and they're going to go everywhere I go. And I tell the story of what I hear. So I pray, I meditate, I sit quietly, and I say, just like you did. And when you walk into a house, I say, what message must I send? What story do you want to tell? And I'm honored. Yes. I'm so honored to be the one to hold this energy for you. And then I write it. And then I walk out into a room and I tell the story. And I walk into an event and I share the story. One moment that happened very recently that was so profound was a young woman in the room, and her young child passed away. She was there with her family, and she wanted so much to believe that her daughter lived on. There, documented 2 months before meeting her, was the exact story of her child coming too early. And it was recorded on the paper and had a little crib and all these hearts and a story documented there. But what was most fascinating was in the left corner it said baby blanket. The mother reaches out and she pulls out this pink little blanket that belonged to her child that passed. And then she went off to tell a story about the balloons. I don't know what that was all about until I got back to the purple papers. That message channeled 6 days previous to this one. A paper that says, I get the sky that's full of balloons, or something to that effect. And it's all painted with these beautiful balloons. And the parents go on to tell me that what they do for their child is they let these balloons free as an honor of her connection to them. These two papers were dated 6 days apart from each other, 2 months prior to meeting them. That's what they are. They're stories, they're nuggets of information that tell us love is everlasting.
And I don't think well, I know you realize, but that paper, when somebody receives it, is validation for them, and it's something that they can treasure. And I don't think you realize the things that you do, because you're very humbled by what you do, and it's amazing to see that.
I hope that someday someone comes up to me and says, and people have, they say to me, you know what I got out of that moment? I got the understanding that love is so real, that my mom, my kid, my dad, they're part of me, and I can go on, and I can breathe, and I can take my next step, and I can do whatever it is I need to do. I appreciate your sentiments, by the way. I totally appreciate them. And I hope that one mother leaves that audience thinking, I can breathe now. I'll never forget this one woman. I don't know if we're running out of time here. I will never, ever forget her. When at the end of the event, she goes like this, the only thing I can tell you is that I can breathe now. That was worth every single thing I've ever had to do to get into that place. That was worth every second of my life, knowing that that mother could take my hand and say, I can breathe now. She couldn't say anything else,
right?
But she could catch her breath. That's what I hope. I want to be the administrator of hope. Right. I want to be the ambassador of hope. That people leave the experience believing that there's more.
Right.
That's
giving them hope.
Giving them hope.
That their loved ones never leave us, that they're always with us.
Do you realize that in the end, I'm going to give you some behind-the-scenes information that I've really never given on a TV show before? And that is, in the end, it's not about them believing that their loved ones are with them. It really is that we go on, that we remain a part of the story. It's like, it's more than just saying, your mom is here.
Right.
Everything is here. Live your life to the fullest, you know. Live your life and do what it is you're supposed to do. And that's what happens. It's more than just, you know, a message from a loved one. It's a message about eternity. It's a message about everlasting. It's a message about living. You know, I'm not in the business, honestly. I'm not in the business of talking to dead people.
Right.
I'm in the business of talking to the living.
Right.
So that you can fulfill your true destiny. That's what I do. And that's how I do it.
And that's beautiful. And if you have anything that you want to talk about or end the segment with, what would you like to say?
Well, you know, what I want to say is to whomever is out there watching this, take it easy. Go easy on yourself. And take good care of yourself. And be patient as you change, as you expand and grow. And open your mind to the possibility that maybe right here, right now, you have available to you everything. And not to be afraid. Just go for it. Just live your life. Live it to the fullest. And if you do, you're going to feel energy, sense things, see things, feel things, and have a pretty extraordinary journey. That's what I would say to them. Just take it easy.
Well, you know what, Roland? It was truly a blessing having you here.
Thank you.
I'd love to have you come back.
Love to.
And if you have any questions or you want to get in touch with Roland or you have questions with the show, you can email me at paranormalencounterstv9@gmail.com. And thanks for watching. Thanks, Roland.
Thanks so much.